Here's what I want to know, and I've asked a few people this now. If you could, would you rather have a flying speed or be able to breathe underwater?
We rolling dice?
Sure.
Yeah.
12.
Oh, 19.
18.
19.
Oh,
Suck
you son of a
I'm
bitch.
good.
Go ahead.
Suck
12.
it, Dan. All right, so, okay. Flying speed. Flying speed 100%. Because I don't... See, being able to breathe underwater does not mean that you're proficient with being underwater. Sharks
That's right.
and shit still swim faster than you. You still gotta, like, you're not gonna drown when you fight the giant fucking squid that comes after you, the colossal squid, but you still gotta wrestle with too many fucking tentacles, right? Then, Dan, calm down. I know that just turned you on. But the other thing about being underwater is, man, I don't have dark vision. And I sure as fuck cannot deal with how goddamn cold it is down there. Or the pressure.
Cold.
It would pop me like a fucking balloon. So no, man, fly speed. Because even though it's cold up in the atmosphere, I could fly 6 feet off the ground. That's no problem. I can do that. Fly speed, 100%.
I like it. Dan?
I mean, to be honest, I would agree with Adam. Fly speed 100%, mostly because I hate traffic.
That is so... You're so practical. Like, that is not what... I'm like thinking about sneaking into football stadiums and whatever. Dan's like...
No, I'm thinking about my morning commute. Yeah, my morning commute. How do I fix this?
If you could fly, Dan, why would you go to work?
I would do a job that would require flight. Like, just like individual personal flight. I would be a window washer.
No, you're wrong. If you are the only person in the world that can fly, you just get product endorsements, and you never have to work another day in your life.
Yeah. Or you get one of those, those like tandem skydiving harnesses, and just pay me $500 an hour, and I'll fly you around. It's like work as like a private tourism thing.
You just
See, my only problem with that. My only problem with that is I would hate being in the limelight.
You're doing a podcast, Dan. I have news for you.
I understand, and so does everyone else who's listening, that being in the limelight's not my most comfortable place. But
you're so good at it now. You've been doing it for 18 months, almost.
Almost. That's not including the 3 or 4 false starts Adam and I had before It's a Mimic was born. But yeah, man, flight. However, we do live in a city called Rain City, and it's not on accident. So the ability to breathe underwater would be fun. We're close to the ocean.
I don't know,
There's lots
man.
of lakes around here.
I don't know. I find that I can still breathe myself in rain. So
I think I'm going to have to fly. Adam won me over with his argument. Like, what? Also, being underwater by yourself, it's just going to be lonely. Yeah, no.
Can I throw in a alternative?
Sure.
Do you want a flying speed or a burrowing speed?
Well, I thought burrowing speed when I was coming up with the question, and then I was like, but then you're just cold, damp, and alone underground, which for me is not good. Because I'm not afraid of heights, but I'm afraid of depths. I have this thing, when I went caving a few years ago, I was very much aware that in order to get out of that cave, I'm essentially, I was aware that I am surrounded by a planet. I'm currently inside a planet. And that for me was much scarier than being up high. So, flying speed is the answer to all of them.
also, everyone's got to respect you when you fly, because you just have to look at them and say, I will fucking drop you.
I will drop you and then land on you. Actually, write that down as a good combat tactic.
Welcome to It's a Mimic with your DMs, Adam, Dan, and Terry.
Welcome to another episode of the It's a Mimic podcast, the roundtable Dungeons and Dragons discussion where you never know what you're going to get. I am Terry. With me as always is Dan and Adam, and today we are talking about wizards. Again.
Yay!
Yay!
Okay, team. So, what is this, second episode on wizards now? This is the second episode on wizards.
Yes.
Right.
Second of what will be so very god-awful many.
There's going to be a lot.
There's going to be a ton of these things.
But wizards is one of those things, right, where you're like, wizards, here we go again. But then you get reading about your subclasses, and they're actually really fun. They have a lot of unique flavor to them, depending on which subclass you go to, and in the different break-off books and Xanathars and the like. So they're actually very fun. So moving into topic one, what we're going to be going over is we're going to be touching on spellbooks, ambitions, and eccentricities. So these areas of exploration can be found in Xanathar's. So what I want to touch on, firstly, I'd like to move into spellbooks, because we see, in kind of traditional D&D, spellbook is a huge part of being a wizard, but it kind of goes by the wayside, right? It's kind of, okay, yeah, you're a wizard, you have your spellbook, but this is another area of your character that we can really explore. When you think about it, a wizard spellbook is really their most prized possession. So it can be anything from like an innocuous-looking volume whose cover shows no hint of what's inside, according to Xanathar's, or you might display some flair, as many wizards do, by carrying a spellbook of an unusual sort. You may even have discussed with your DM an unusual type of spellbook that you would like to use, something that your DM's agreed with and would be fun for the game. So what I would like to do is just roll, and then see what ideas you guys have got for unique or interesting spellbooks for wizards.
Before we do that,
right.
what they've got some options in the Xanathar.
They do, yeah. So I'll give you guys a couple of examples, actually. So with regards to spellbooks, so a couple here from Xanathar's. So you can roll on a d6 table. You might get something like long straps of leather on which spells are written, wrapped around a staff. So you have your wizard staff. Around there, some long straps of leather with the spells written on there. Or you might have something like a scorched book, ravaged by dragonfire, with the script of your spells that are barely visible on its pages. So we can throw flavor into this. So if you guys are ready, we'll roll, and we'll see what ideas you've got.
Sure.
Let's go.
Ooh, I got a 19.
I got a 19 as well, Dan.
Oh, I got a 15. I'm going last with a 15? Fuck.
Well, last out of 15.
Yep. All right, reroll, Terry.
I just re-rolled. I got an 8.
I got a 12.
So you're going first, Dan. I'll go second. Adam will go third.
Okay, so you guys are fans of Christopher Nolan, right?
Yep.
Terry
doesn't know what movies are, so keep going. Yeah.
Okay, he should know this one. It's the guy who did the Christian Bale Batman movies.
Michael Keaton?
Nope.
No, the Christian Bale Batman.
Fuck.
Terry.
Fuck.
God. Okay.
God damn it. Shit.
So the reason why I bring up Christopher Nolan is I recently this week I had some time to myself and I watched Memento, and I love the idea of your spellbook being tattoos all over your body.
And you have to read it backwards?
Never leave you. And you have to read it backwards in a mirror. Yeah, sure. But like just all over your body, arcane runes, arcane sigils. They say in some of these other examples like pictographic things. So you could have like a straight up magical tattoo. And we talked about magical tattoos with our giveaway episode a few months ago. But the idea of your entire spellbook, your entire power coming through, and every time you are trying to empower or add to your spellbook, you are re-tattooing yourself, either professionally or like just the good old fashioned prison tattoo style. So I love the idea of just having that. And then, I mean, the only way that you lose your spellbook is if you're flayed. So don't get flayed, and you should be fine.
Oh, Dan, I haven't been flayed in months.
No.
We're not touching that one. Sometimes I can't tell if it's just... Sometimes I'm like, did that joke land? Did Discord cut out? What happened there?
It landed. I was just going to make a joke that it decided not to.
Okay. Who's second? Me?
Yep.
Okay, I have an interesting...
Remember, Adam lost with a 16.
That's right, 50.
15,
Yes,
okay.
that's right. I have this interesting idea that you'd have to run by your DM of mechanically how you're going to do it and whether or not it's fair. But I have this idea of this really eccentric kind of crazy type wizard that scrawls all of their spells on the walls of their wizard's tower where they are, kind of beautiful mind type all over the place, like these scrawlings. And they have, when they're out away from the wizard tower adventuring, they have this looking glass that they look through, which will show the direction, like within their wizard's tower. So if you're looking north, it'll show you the north wall. So they have to kind of look in the middle of the battle or wherever they're trying to use their spells, look around as though they're inside their room, trying to locate the spell so that they could read the arcane text and recite it to cast the spell. So instead of looking at their book, looking through their looking glass, which shows the insides of their tower. Of course, with regards to fairness and things, and typically the spell books with you would have to talk to your DM about how you're going to make it fair. But I just had this really crazy idea of this wizard looking all in all these different crazy directions, trying to locate the spell which is inside their tower room.
Know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that little toy you could get for the for kids. That it's like the binoculars with the like little insert thing that you pull the lever on the side and it just changes the picture that you could see. Just this is how he prepares his spells. He's just like click click. Oh, okay. Well, it was a water buffalo on the mesa. Okay, cool. Click click. Well, I now know how to cast fireball.
No, well, he would already know. It's just written down somewhere. He has to, like, if it's in the southeast corner of his wizard's tower room, he has to face southeast with this looking glass. But yes, Dan, essentially like that.
I love it.
Adam?
Okay, so, I was going to talk about tattoos as well, because I absolutely love it. We talked about it in the Barbarian episode, the second one, and about like tattooing. You would tattoo your own personal history on your body, and then your ancestors would actually keep the flaps of your skin that have been like tanned and leather now, and they pray essentially, and then meditate on their tribal history by carrying around tattoos of their deceased forefathers and whatnot. And I think that would be a really cool thing for a necromancer in the Book of the Dead. The necromancy tradition is you're trying to be a good enough wizard where you can make your own spell, and when you do, you tattoo it on your body. And the person that kills you is the one that gets to learn that spell and pass it on. And so your spell book is looking for scraps of other dead wizards' bodies, trying to put shit together. I think that would be a lot of fun. Because I wanted to go dark with it. Dan went a little bit like, almost a Prison Break ish, right? Where you look at you peel your shirt off and you can see all the clues, put it all together, but nobody else can figure it out. I like the idea of you carrying a book that is just it's a leather book, and every page is leather, and every page has a single spell on it, and you just keep adding pages to it, and all the pages
taking them from the flesh of another person.
Yeah, and so now when you're looting bodies, you can turn to the dungeon master and say, "Hey, was this mage someone who had made a pact with someone? Did they inherently have it, or were they a wizard and they knew it? Can I find this spell tattooed somewhere?" And it gets you kind of thinking outside the box on making your own spells and adapting things, and maybe you can do little annotations, and this is why you can cast magic missile at higher levels as you level. Right, like I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. That the idea.
It sounds like Dan's character does not want to meet your character though.
No.
No.
My character walks around with like a paring knife. Right, just he's got his belt of pouches for all the spell components, and the number one thing on it is this paring knife that he just will slowly remove pieces of skin of the recently deceased. No, hold on. I'm sorry. Never mind. They don't have to be deceased. They could still be alive when you take the skin.
Don't be a monster, Dan. There's no reason for him to kill them.
Yeah.
If we can spare life on this podcast, we will.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have to invest in chains to keep your spell book around.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. I also like the idea of maybe it floats behind you and screams every time you open it, but I'm just going down the necromancer road at the moment.
I like the idea of every time the book screams, if nobody expected it, that the necromancer apologizes like a quick and then just excuse me. It just carries on as though nothing's happened.
No, I think he looks up and smiles and goes, did I get anyone? Fuck, you guys didn't jump.
Come on, tough crowd. Yeah. Love it. Okay. Love it. Okay, well, let's explore the idea of ambitions then. So few aspiring wizards undertake the study of magic without some personal goal in mind, and that makes absolute sense. There is going to be a reason why a person undertakes the study of magic. There's going to be something they try and achieve. So really, beyond the obvious, you have to think, why does your character study magic? What are they looking to gain from all of this? So, for example, examples within Xanathar's here is if you can fully understand magic, you can unlock its use for all and usher in an era of equality. So you may have a good aligned goal in mind, or arcane power must be taken away from those who would abuse it. So that's something very good aligned. Adam, I don't know if your character you were describing there is good aligned. I'm sure they have their reasons for what they're doing. But we should re-roll and maybe explore some unique ideas and our take on wizards' ambitions.
Sure. Okay.
You ready? All right, let's do it.
Oh, natural 20,
I
bitches.
got a natural 20 as well, Dan.
Are you kidding me?
I promise you. Promise you this.
And also Adam's
Okay.
here too, so yay.
Okay, 10.
Oh,
Terry?
sorry, hang on, I'm back. 14.
All right, you're going first, bud.
Okay. All right. I have this idea for an ambition of correcting a mistake. Something has gone wrong that your wizard needs to correct. Because what we do is we see these wizards, obviously they're very intelligent, right? Academically they must be, if they can manipulate nature and magic. But I like the idea of whether it be in their past or something they came across as an apprentice that they shouldn't have. They've made some huge mistake, and so they need to study magic in order for them to correct that mistake. It may be that they've, knocked some artifact or whatever it is in twisted time, or released some avatar of a god, just sort of channeling Adam's mind there. But I like the idea of this very academically intelligent wizard whose ambition is solely to correct their own catastrophic mistake.
I like it.
I like that.
This person's probably an evoker.
No, I like the idea of them trying to dig into the idea of time magic to be able to go back in time to undo it, but they're not powerful
Right.
enough yet. Like that's
Yeah.
the level 20 goal, right? Is to end of the campaign. I need to go back. Yeah, I like
Absolutely
that.
perfect
I love it.
example.
I love it. So for me, simply spite. You get into magic out of spite. Someone told you once you couldn't do it. You weren't, maybe you were a lowborn. You were never going to amount to anything. You were never the smartest person in your class. But you were by far the most, let's say, committed, the most disciplined, the most persistent person in your class. And someone has said, there's no way you could do it. So out of spite, you do it. I do a lot of my life out of spite. So this fits well. I don't necessarily think this has to be a bad, an evil character or even just a two-dimensional character. I think this could breathe in a lot of weight because it could be your family has been telling you you will never amount to anything. And here you are trying to put yourself through wizard school.
Yeah.
And
Dan,
then you have an
Dan, is
entire
that why you have
character arc
kids?
story of-
Is that why you have kids? Because we told you all through high school that you were never going to get laid?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of even view the class system with that, Dan. I imagine this very low-born person determined to prove themselves because of all of the upper-class people that get to attend the Wizard University because Mommy and Daddy pay for it, and they kind of have a chip on their shoulder there. But I like that idea. I like that idea. We've become too nice. Do you remember when we just used to tell each other's ideas sucked and they're wrong?
Yeah, well, I keep trying to give Dan shit, but he just agrees with me and it's driving me up the fucking wall. Like, God damn it, Dan.
I mean, you have points. You have solid, worthwhile points.
It's like bullying somebody at school and the kid that you're bullying is going, "You're right, these shoes are ridiculous. I'll never wear them again."
Yeah, no.
It's called kill him with kindness. That's my whole my whole goal.
Next time I'm just bringing a fucking switchblade.
Social distancing, bitch.
All right, fine, I'll bring a blow dart. Let's do this. Okay, so my ambition is very similar to Dan's, but it doesn't have the pent up, the little pent up rage that comes along with it. I think that
The angst.
yeah, because I don't play edgelords because I'm not a dick. So I would have the wizard who is the only mundane person in their family of sorcerers for generations. And this one came through. You know how it's always like, oh, the one sorcerer that pops up once every 10 generations? Now this whole family tree is sorcerers, and you didn't get it. You are the anomaly. And so you just said, fine, I have to go out and I have to get magic. In order to be a part of this family, I have to have magic. And I have to prove that I'm good enough. And it's not, fine, fuck you. It's just like, my family's a magical family. I can't go on the boat with them that flies through the air because I don't have the spells to be able to cast Featherfall on myself at whim, right? So I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it. And then the wizard finds out that he's got a lot more access to a lot more spells out there. And his whole idea after, I don't know, tier 2 is to take this knowledge back to the sorcerers and show them how they can be even more powerful with an expanded spell list.
I really like it. No, actually, I really, really like it. I especially like the fact that your wizard could eventually become far more powerful than the sorcerers.
Well, yeah, I think every sorcerer probably gets like level 8, right? Like that's you wouldn't call it that. You'd be like, oh, they're mid-tier sorcerers, right, or whatever. Yeah. But you,
yeah, but I mean, you get to a point where you could manipulate any social situation. You get to a point where you could, you have the ability to flex and defend yourself, and you've got that gigantic charisma that you could sail on for the rest of your life. You don't need to like study hard to be a sorcerer. You don't need to study hard to succeed in life as a sorcerer. You just have to wing it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You have the discipline of the wizard who's sitting there like, no. I have to do this. And then eventually that becomes a bit of a drive and a passion for them to just continue. Like, not only, I know I'm the best one in my family now, but there's still stuff I could learn.
and you see, as a dungeon master too, I have this really cool dynamic now that I'm not going to go murder their family because I'm going to have a family reunion. Right? And I'm going to do it at like level 14 when this guy's more powerful. But there's still going to be some people who are like, oh, you had to learn that? He goes, yeah, but look what I can do. Right? And you actually get a decent family dynamic, which is goddamn unheard of in D&D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sister's missing. I'm avenging my dead wife. My child was murdered in front of me. Or everyone's happy until level 3, and then you find your farmstead burnt to the ground. That's what it is to have a family in D&D, right? So, so I'm looking for something different.
Yeah. Love it. All right, guys. Okay, so the last one for topic 1 that I want to explore. I want to explore eccentricities, and I think this one makes perfect sense, and it's something I didn't really think of too much before this episode, but it's according to Xanathar's, and I think this is right, endless hours of solitary study and research are going to have a negative effect on anyone's social skills. So wizards are already...
Fuck off.
Wizards are already agreed apart to begin with, and no exception. And do you know what's really funny? Is that wizards typically... wizards are the nerds of the nerds, right? In the D&D world, and we make fun of this fact all the time with people about nerds. They can be very smart, but they have no social skills. And there's all kinds of eccentricities we can play, and I think wizards are the perfect class for this because no matter which one you choose, it's going to be correct. Because in order for them to get to that level of their ability, they've been removed from
challenge accepted.
Right, but it's like they've been removed from the world so much to do that. It's like they're going to have this warped view of reality. Oh, well, with regards to magic, but also people in the world and everything. So, 2 examples from Xanathar's right here. So, your fashion sense and grooming, or more accurately lack thereof, sometimes cause others to assume you are a beggar. I love this. Because this is definitely true to people. The people out there in the world that we, for example, as somebody in my life that I know, I would go and see a lot of scientists with this person at various times in the year, and I used to walk into that room and I'd think, you guys, every single one of you looks like you've been roundhouse kicked to a value village. What the fuck are you wearing? Like, it's just because their minds are so focused on the scientific problem, what they think is the true thing, that they end up looking like a beggar when they come outside. Another example being here from Xanathar's is you never enter a room without looking to see what's hanging from the ceiling. Makes absolute sense. If that is what your focus is in your private life, for whatever reason, whether it be like astronomy or whatever the wizard's into, that would make sense, but it's going to be odd for everybody else. So,
I would like to point out, I do that.
You look at the ceiling?
Just me as Dan. I look at the ceiling, I look at the floorboards, and I look at everything. Like, I will walk into a room, and it's like a Doppler radar effect, where I could be able to tell every single thing that's wrong with the finishing carpentry inside that room within an instant. And it drives me insane. I have gone to restaurants my entire life, and then I will walk into them again, and like after not being in them for like a year, and I'll start seeing issues with the wainscoting or the fascia or something that is wrong, and it just tweaks me, and I get physically uncomfortable.
That is a perfect example, Dan, of what I'm talking about, because that is your craft, that's your expertise, right? So when you go to another area, you're laughing at yourself, saying, "Oh, I'm looking at the ceiling," because that's what you do. But I'm the same. For me, in my job, I do a lot of public speaking, a lot of coaching, a lot of training of large teams. So when I go into a room with a fresh people, and I'll go to shake someone's hand, I'm like, "What are you doing? Look at me. I'm talking to you. Look at me in the face. Why are you looking down there?" Or when there's like a 6-second pause after a question, I'm like, "What the hell's the matter with this person?" Because that's my thing that I focus on. So anyway, all that aside, last roll, example of eccentricity. Are you ready?
Sure.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
I just botched.
15.
I got a 16. There we go. Fuck, finally. Okay, so.
Oh, Adam, you're here.
Yeah. Well, I was fuming. Yeah. No, I would say that the eccentricity that my character would have is that he is smart enough to know that he is not the most charismatic person in the room, and so he's consistently trying to mimic the other people around him, the face of the party. The paladin who's standing up straight and looking people in the eye, he's also standing up straight and looking them in the eye, right? Like,
Who just doesn't look.
Yeah, he's just mimicking what everybody else is doing. When the bard is singing and whatnot, he goes back to his tent afterwards and goes, do, re, mi, fuck. Right? And so like he's trying to just be as social as everyone else. Everyone with a high charisma check, and that is goddamn half the fucking people in the Players Handbook, right? Half of the classes are charisma casters, right? So he's sitting there and he goes, but he's smart. He knows it. So he's always sitting there and he's going, guys, I've got this really cool thing that we can all do together. It's called Mansions and Mundanes. Do you guys want to play? But he can never find a group of people to play with.
Oh, it's tragic in a way. But it's so true.
So yeah, there we go. There we go. That's mine.
Cool. For me, I've got. We've said that these guys are the nerd's nerd, and quite often in a party, the wizard is seen as the guy who knows the obscure fact or weird piece of information, and they're the ones who are relied upon. I would have, for my character, I would definitely have a character who knows that this is true, that he knows most everything, but he doesn't want to be the center of attention. He doesn't want to be that font of information. Right. So he'll let other people speak first, but he just can't help doing the, like that inhale of just like, oh, you're starting to get wrong.
Yeah.
Like he's the actually, like, actually, God. You just, you got it wrong on one little point, but good try. It's actually the third star on the right, not the fourth. But I can understand. I mean, you don't speak ancient Elven, which I mean is rudimentary, basically. But I mean, I get it. You spent more time plucking the strings on your wood box.
We don't need to know how much time you're plucking the strings on your wooden box, but
yeah. But yeah, so it's the guy who is the know-it-all, knows that won't work out for him, but can't resist to like throw in little bits of like so close.
I have
like,
heard you play this character like 7 fucking times, Dan, and it drives me nuts. This is one of your go-to NPCs that has much information, but you want to like throw in a monkey wrench. I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna get the fucking annoying one then. I think we murdered him in Deep Dark Irradiance, didn't we? Didn't we just fucking murder Winky? No, we didn't murder.
Yeah, you guys murdered.
No, we didn't murder him, but we let him die, and then we're not particularly sad about it. So because he was this character. I like this character, but god damn it, Dan, if I hear you say "well, actually" one more time, because I know I can picture you. You are pretending to push invisible glasses up the bridge of your nose with one finger right now. Well, every time you say "well, hey. Actually," because that is your mannerism, it drives me up the fucking wall.
Adam, actually,
fuck
it's
off.
2 fingers.
Yeah. All right, Terry, what do you got?
I have this idea that I thought of earlier. I was watching a quick podcast clip of Russell Brand talking to Ricky Gervais, and they were discussing the idea of the characters in the UK and the American Office, so Michael Scott and David Brent, and this tragedy that goes along with them just trying essentially so hard to be famous, to be accepted. This idea of, do they love me yet? And I think it falls into the world a lot. The idea, if you guys follow Gary Vee, he talks a lot about, stop buying shit to impress people that you don't even like. And this is the world all over the place, right? So and it's touching on what Adam said a little bit. This idea of, we know that the impressive fighter and the charismatic warlock and the bard are going to get all of the attention, and they're the people that roll to seduce the barmaid and all that. And so this idea of this wizard just trying so hard to fit in, but just comes across as an idiot. It comes across as a tryhard. Comes across as it's just laughable because they're trying so hard to fit in. This tragic idea of, do they love me yet? Which is what people do when they try so hard to be famous, right? And this idea of, no, they don't love you. They want you to fail. We watch Big Brother, we watch Survivor, we watch these reality TV shows because we want to watch people make a fool of themselves, because that's the entertainment. And so this tragedy that goes along with that, which is just doing anything for the barbarian to accept them, instead of just tripling down on their own skill, which is, hey, by the way, you're a freaking genius. You can manipulate the world around you. But instead of being so focused on that thing which makes you truly special, you're just trying to be as cool as the bard over there. And I think there's going to be a lot of hilarity that goes with that. But I think that underlying sense of tragedy around the table as well would make for a good character.
Yeah, I think that's sad, but then, you've got to have that character grow over the course of the campaign.
Yes,
so that by the last sessions, they have come into their own, right? And so I think that should be the goal. And I would communicate that with my dungeon master before I even started playing this character. I just want to be like, hey, look, I'm super fucking pathetic. And because... It's not to say that everyone that's like that is super fucking pathetic. It's just when you're playing a fantasy role-playing game once a week to blow off steam, you're going to ham it up a bit, right? So I'm going to play this up, but I do want to have an arc, and I want to end where he does find his own self-worth.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that... You're right. It's not that they're pathetic. It's just they're not tripling down on the right area of who they are. For me as a person, like... This is going to sound strange. Dan, you have, I'm sure, the most skilled hands in the world. What you can do with your hands is unbelievable, okay? Because I'm all thumbs. I really am. And so I can't triple down on that area of my life pretending that I can craft things as good as Dan. I've got to do my own thing. But we have those people out there where they try to pretend so hard. Do they love me yet? Do they love me yet? But you're right, you have to grow. And if you don't grow, it won't work. But yeah,
well,
that's me.
Terry,
yes.
Terry, I just got to say, the thumbs are the second most important appendage.
I almost asked, what's the first? The nose.
Yeah, the nose. Yeah, moving on.
And we're going to move on to a short break.
Hello everyone, Megan here. If you or a loved one are looking to jazz up your in-game experience with specific 3D printed mini pieces for tabletop furniture, castle walls, trapdoors, or other useful items to add to your maps and worlds, well, it's kind of your lucky day. We've actually paired with a local Vancouver business called Diabolical Dungeoneers, who are dedicated to adding that other dimension to your game. You can find custom 3D printable items through their Facebook and Instagram at Diabolical Dungeoneer, or at their website at www.diabolicaldungeoneer.com. And for a limited time, if you use promo code MIMIC2020, you get 10% off your first order. Shipping is only available here in the lower mainland of Vancouver, BC, so reach out and inquire through their website. Happy gaming, and always feel free to share photos with us and other D&D communities. Thank you!
And we're back.
Woo! I did not miss that. Fuck.
Okay, team, topic 2. We're going to talk about subclasses. So each of us has our own, and I'll let you guys say what your subclass is when you get there. We'll roll through it. We'll take our turns going through. And are you guys ready to go?
Absolutely.
Let's roll. I got a 15.
13.
2. I got a 2.
You got a 2, Adam?
I got a 2.
Adam, this is a couple of episodes in a row where you haven't been rolling very well.
Well, I'm either getting in the high teens or the fucking low single digits. It's, I'm an all or nothing kind of guy.
That's it. Okay, so I guess I'm going first then, hey?
Yep.
Today I will be exploring the school of transmutation. Transmutation, guys, turning shit into other shit. Is essentially what we're doing here. So you're a student of spells that modify energy and matter. To you, the world is not a fixed thing, but eminently mutable, and you delight in the being of an agent of change. Okay, the amount of pressure. I've got a couple of wheat beers in me while I'm trying to read this. I'm sick of all this academic wizard stuff when I can't say these words. You know when you search like word definitions on Google and then it says it out loud so you can hear how it's pronounced? Had to do that a couple of times earlier on in the week. So I'll go through the abilities by level that comes with this subclass. But beginning when you select this school at 2nd level, Transmutation Savant.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The golden time you must spend to copy a transmutation spell into your spell book is halved. Quick, easy one, guys. Do you have any beef with this at all?
No, it's the same as all the other
Same as all the others. And I think
schools.
We touched on it in the last episode. It's cool. It's fine. Whatever. What we did talk about gold a little bit before. I think if gold is a bigger issue, it might be more important. But sure, whatever. Also, starting at 2nd level, you get Minor Alchemy. So when you select this school, you can temporarily alter the physical properties of one non-magical object, changing it from one substance into another. You perform a special alchemical procedure on one object composed entirely of wood, stone, but not a gemstone, iron, copper, or silver, transforming it into a different one of those materials. For each 10 minutes you spend performing the procedure, you can transform up to 1 cubic foot of material. After 1 hour or until you lose your concentration, as if you were concentrating on a spell, the material reverts to its original substance. This, for me, just before I let you guys comment on it, this subclass got me thinking. It's one of those ones where I think you need to be a little bit more experienced with D&D to play it, and you need to have either a very creative mind or you've played D&D so much you essentially know what your options are and you have ideas from experience of what to do. But I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this one.
Personally, I like it, except for the fact that it requires concentration.
Right.
Nope. I absolutely love it. No, sorry, Dan. I think the concentration thing is hilarious because 2 of those things were copper and silver, right?
Yes.
Oh, I guess that's true.
So you are now 10 times richer than you were. You count up all your copper pieces. Bang. They're all silver pieces. You hand them to the merchant, turn around, walk away, and you get inside the distance or you drop your concentration and they're back to copper. And the merchant's like, what the fuck? And I just think that's a lot of fun.
I love the idea of the either the rogue or the bard, along with the wizard, pulling the con, and the bard's like, "I'll do the talking. You just stand there in the corner and just concentrate on this spell." And just kind of standing there, wide-eyed, sort of shaking, trying to not let this gold turn back into silver. And the shopkeep's like, "What the hell's the matter with him? Him? Oh, don't worry about him." I think it'd be great for a good role-playing encounter.
I don't know, man. I see you walking up to the side of a castle wall and you spend 10 minutes making that 1 foot cube. You spend 20 minutes making a 2 foot cube for someone to get in through the castle wall as you transform that stone into wood and then just chop the wood out. And who cares if it goes back to stone by the time your concentration's done?
Yeah.
That hole still exists.
Yeah, well, it's not even that, right? Like when the fighter is carrying around 6 freaking great axes, and you're like, no, man, just pick one, and I will carry a wooden one, okay? Because iron is on this list, right? This is really useful when you got to go fight werewolves, right? Because silver's on the list, right? There's some cool stuff in here. Think about weapons as well.
Oh,
I like Dan's See, I went role playing, Dan went exploration, and now here I am on combat. So there we go. There are your pillars.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fun to be had with this.
I think so too. I like how the fact that all of our minds went to very different places, and I'm a little bit ashamed that mine immediately went to trying to find ways to rip people off. But yours were good.
Yeah, that tracks though, Terry. Yeah.
I just want to throw one more thing out there, just for like a good combat encounter. If you have a transmutation wizard in your party, give them at least one encounter that is like a magnetic encounter, just so that guy could feel like a fucking god for a minute as he makes everyone's metal into wood.
Oh, no, it's not even that, man. Make it fighting between rowboats. So he's just going to look at that wood on the rowboat and go, wood, you say? Huh. Okay. Huh. And just suddenly the boat is sinking because now it's made of stone, right?
Yep.
Or you do it to the mast of a sailing ship and it'll just plunge the mast through the ship and sink it, right? Like,
yeah. You make the first like 2 cubic feet of the mast solid iron, and it just plummets through the ship.
Yeah, like, there could be some funny. I would be looking up in real life how much does 2 cubic feet of iron weigh, right? And like I would do it for all of the things. So,
I think it's so really fun because I know that me as a DM, of course, I would not research that. Out of the million things you have to research as a DM, and then that would just be that encounter killer, and that would be another DM saying, "Adam, I'm afraid you're not allowed to play in this game anymore because you've ruined it."
Well, this is just another subclass I'm not allowed to play. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, a cubic foot of iron would weigh 491 pounds.
Well, yeah, that would do it through a couple of boards. Yeah.
However, I would like to point out, a cubic foot of copper would weigh 559 pounds.
Really?
And silver is even denser, weighing 655 pounds for a cubic foot.
Is it really?
Yeah. So if you want to really mess up a ship, don't change it into iron. Change it into silver.
Man.
Nice.
Who'd have known? Stay in school, kids. All right, starting at 6th level, you get Transmuter Stone. I like this one. You can spend 8 hours creating a Transmuter Stone that stores Transmutation magic. You can benefit from the stone yourself or give it to another creature. A creature gains a benefit of your choice as long as the stone is in the creature's possession. When you create the stone, choose the benefit from the following options. So you get Dark Vision out to a range of 60 feet, as described in Chapter 8 of Adventuring in the PHB. An increase to a speed of 10 feet while the creature is unencumbered, proficiency in Constitution saving throws, or resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder damage. Your choice whenever you choose this benefit. Each time you cast a transmutation spell at 1st level or higher, you can change the effect of your stone. That's worth noting. If the stone is on your person, if you create a new transmuter stone, the previous one ceases to function. Love this. You can get real creative with it. What are your thoughts on this?
I have zero issue with any of this.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it.
It is super flavorful. It's super awesome. It's got, man, it's just got so much to it. Like this is your flavor in this class, right? And I look at all of the other schools and I find it hard to find a class feature given at 6th level that is as flavorful as the Transmuter Stone. I
like it. I like the increase to speed. Or you can give Dark Vision to your Triton so they can see in their own home.
Yep.
Finally.
10th level, Shape Changer. You can add the Polymorph spell to your spell book if it isn't there already. You can cast Polymorph without expending a spell slot. When you do so, you can target only yourself and transform into a beast whose challenge rating is 1 or lower. Once you cast Polymorph in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long or short rest, though you can still cast it normally using available spell slot. Beef with this one at level 10?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I gotta say that this is weak, and I have to say, remember what it says about polymorph. That the target's game statistics, so yours, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast. You retain your alignment and personality, but you do not retain your ability to speak or think or reason. And we're talking less than CR1. So if you turn yourself into a toad, you're a fucking toad.
You're just a toad.
Yeah, you're just a toad. You're not sitting there hopping around and I'm going to go scout out the area around the corner. No, you're not. That's not how this works. This is not the druid's ability to turn into a beast, right? And maintain their own mental stats. This is you just bloop, and I'm a crow. I will fly. And I will just fly away, and you have to get injured, and you don't know that anymore, right? Yeah. You have to get dropped below 0 hit points, right, in order to drop out of this. So, like, I don't know. For a 10th level ability, that's cool.
It's crippling.
It's cool, and it's going to be the way that you don't end up with a total party kill because that one guy turned into a fucking earthworm and just started to burrow. but then pops up, 17 years later, all of a sudden out of, like, a crow explodes because it swallowed the earthworm, and now there's a wizard sitting there covered in blood and burnt bones and feathers, right? Because he finally took enough damage. And so, like, this is, again, yeah, I think it's crippling. I don't think this is nearly as cool as you want it to be. They should have added that you keep your mental stats.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you if that's the rule, absolutely. Because, I mean, that plan of, okay, well, turn into a spider and crawl through the door lock is not going to work when you become the spider and you have no idea what you're doing. Like,
You're just biting people.
Yeah, I agree.
I also have an issue with it being once per short rest.
But you're never going to use it,
also,
right? Like, that's...
But I know you're never going to use it, but if we assume that they added this in with the intention of you having retained your mental skills, which I'm going to do. If I have a transmuter on the table, I'm going to let them keep their mental skills if they cast polymorph on themselves. But if we assume that that's the truth with this, then it's giving them polymorph once per short rest. That's it. Right? And it's not enough. It's just not. Like, you look at the 10th level ability from the other schools, and they're all so much better, so much massively better than this.
Yeah, but you got.
It just seems ill thought out.
No.
It feels like they hit it out of the park with the transmuter stone, and then went, I don't know, fucking shapeshifting, sure.
Yeah.
No, but Dan, that's the point of it, right? Is they gave you the most powerful 6th level, right? And so they gave you a weaker 10th level to balance that out. That's the point. This is meant for role playing. This is not a combat or an exploration thing, is my point, right? Where they're like, oh, we'll only let 3 people into the room, but there's a party of 4. The Transmutation Wizard goes, fine, I'll turn into a fucking cat, right? And
but how many times are you going to use that in the campaign?
Well, right, very little. How often are you going to use the 6th level ability? Way more often than you use any other wizard's 6th level ability. So I think it balances. I think that the 6th level one, swings harder than normal, and I think the 10th level one swings a fuck of a lot weaker, but it balances.
Yep, I'm with you on that one.
So it within the idea of how the wizards are built, this makes sense to me. I don't like it. I think that it's weak, and they maybe should have swapped them.
They just needed to make it that one. They need to add that one sentence. You retain your mental capabilities.
Yeah, I agree there. But what about this for 14th level? You get Master Transmuter. So you can use your action to consume the reserve of transmutation magic stored within your Transmuter Stone in a single burst. So when you do so, you choose one of the following effects. Your Transmuter Stone is destroyed and can't be remade until you finish a long rest. So a major transformation is an option, so you can transmute one non-magical object no larger than a 5-foot cube into another non-magical object of similar size and mass, and of equal or lesser value. You must spend 10 minutes handling the object to transform it. Panacea is an option. You remove all curses, diseases, and poisons affecting a creature that you touch with a Transmuter Stone. The creature also regains all its hit points. I know we might have something to say about that. Or you can do Restore Life. So you cast the Raise Dead spell on a creature you touch with the Transmuter Stone without expending a spell slot or needing to have the spell in your spellbook. So that also means no material component, no diamond required. Restore Youth. You touch the Transmuter Stone to a willing creature, and that creature's apparent age is reduced by 3d10 years to a minimum of 13 years. This effect doesn't extend the creature's lifespan. I like the idea of a 13-year-old child walking around that's really like 95. But what do you guys think of the rest of it?
I don't know. This is super powered for 14th level. It's just another way that the party can't die, right? And
yeah.
I've bitched about this before. Well, even the panacea, right? Like there's just it's too much here. There's just too much for 14th level, right?
You still got 6 levels to go.
That's right, and I don't like what happens in this game. Is we kind of touched on it before. Adam just did, is you get to the point where you're very hard to kill. Not in that you're tough, you have a lot of hit points, but in the ways that you can be killed are just taken away. And remember, so this is one character. Let's say you have 4 characters in your party. Even if you didn't have this Transmutation Wizard, you're probably going to have a Cleric, or you're probably going to have a Druid that can do something like this. You're probably going to have, something where all of these things that used to be a threat in the game are taken away. So all we have left is just standing and banging for hit points, and you're probably not going to die.
Yeah, this is just all of this is really cool. I would like it better if the shit unlocked. Right at 14th level, you get this one. At 16th, you get this. At 18th, you get this. Right, and so we see that in others. Right, and the other thing to keep in mind as well is you are the powerhouse in the party at this point. Right, you're casting some high freaking level spells. Right, you are going to be hitting hard. All of these other things are just additional bonuses and boons because wizards, like clerics and druids, get freaking nuts at high level, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is just another example of you having this overpowering overkill. I think that when they made this one, they said, well, he needs something else that's cool. Like they forgot that he gets fucking access to wish. Like shit.
Yeah.
Let's calm down a bit.
So, funny enough, I would disagree with you on this one, Adam. I actually really like this ability. I think it fits for level 14. I don't think it's overpowered, but I think that's because you kind of have to look at two abilities at the same time to really balance it out. Now, you expend your Transmuter Stone to do one of these four options, and to create a new Transmuter Stone requires 8 hours of downtime on top of your spell list. Yeah, you can't make one until a long rest, but you've basically removed this Transmuter Stone feature, which we've mentioned, the greatest feature you can have as a Transmuter wizard. It's heavily weighted towards the abilities that Transmuter Stone gives you. This basically removes it until you have 8 hours of uninterrupted time to recreate a new Transmuter Stone.
Yeah.
So you could restore someone's life. But if you are at level 14, in the middle of a narrative, in the middle of a plot arc that requires urgency and movement, you're not getting another Transmuter Stone for a day, maybe two, right? Like I understand it. I think that's how they balanced this out. And like, let's be completely honest. At level 14, diseases and poisons aren't a threat, so you're curing curses.
Curses aren't a threat
the
either.
Major
remove curses like a level 4 or 5 spell. Like it's there's nothing going on there either.
But Dan, I think...
but remove curses also includes things like cursed weapons or stuff like that, right? Like, and you're right. At level 14, it's less of a threat, but I would still say there's a threat of a curse at level 14. Diseases and poisons pose zero threat at all.
I see what you're saying. And I think, and clearly that, after, at a long rest, and then plus the additional 8 hours to do it, that text is very deliberate. That's been thought through, and I think you're right, Dan. It's for the reason so that you don't just get it automatically every day. You have to spend some time. But you said it there yourself where you said, level 14, so diseases and poisons aren't an issue anyway. And as soon as you said it, I thought, yeah, see, we're even at the point where we just expect that diseases and poisons are not even an issue. I know this is something for another episode, but that's my thinking with this. It's like... nothing kills us at level 14. Like, a human wizard is still just an old man. 14th level. Yeah, he can manipulate magic. But I feel like he should still be able to die of alcohol poisoning. Like, it's just a whole other thing where it's the threats in the world are just removed and it just becomes expected that, hey, you're 14th level, don't worry, disease isn't going to affect you.
I mean, yeah, you're not worrying about disease or poison, but you're worrying about eldritch horrors from beyond the veil. You're worrying about, invading armies of drow that you're responsible for. Like, diseases isn't going to kill you. Stress might, but disease won't.
I don't know. I think one day I'm going to have the twist in my campaign is going to be that you defeat the eldritch horror, but then shortly after die of tuberculosis. That's going to be the thing that nobody expects.
No, I gotta say, the other thing about this that drives me a little bit up the wall is that there's no consistency between the spell schools. Because, I'm sorry, but being able to remove curses, diseases, poisons, regain all your hit points, and restoring life, you cast a Raise Dead spell, that should be in necromancy. I don't know why this is in transmutation. And we get that all the time, the blurring of the lines between the spell schools. But the spell schools are incredibly imbalanced. Right? Transmutation didn't need this. Transmutation has 65 fucking spells. Out of the 308 that are available in the Players Handbook, Xanathar's Sword Ghosts, and the Elemental Evil Player's Companion, there are 308 spells. Transmutation has the most with 65, right? Necromancy has 27, less than half. Why is this sitting here? You're stepping on toes. We didn't need this shit here. It makes it ridiculously overpowered considering what you are able to do, right? You're essentially just casting... This is better than heal, right? The actual spell heal. This is better than that. And yes, it uses up your slot, it uses up your stone, but so does having only one spell slot, right? Of that spell level. So this is no different than you just getting an additional high level spell slot. No, I still don't like it. I still think it's too powerful, especially because you don't even need to know the Raise Dead spell. It doesn't need to be in your spellbook. You can just fucking do this. It's too Mary Sue to me. Take the shit off the table. I don't like it.
Okay, well, that's it for Transmutation. I forget who was going next. Dan, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was me next. So I got the School of Evocation, which is, I don't know, the typical... Like, it's the stereotypical Dungeons & Dragons wizard in my mind is the evoker. It's because, we cast Fireball. And, hey, that's what we're doing. So, an evoker is the wizard who focuses their study on the explosions, the offensive spells. These are the fireballs, the lightning bolts, the cone of colds, all of these things.
Is it all elemental? Most of it is, right?
There's a lot of force is involved as well, but yeah, it's mostly elemental.
Okay.
So at second level, when you get to have your school, you get your Evocation Savants. That does the same thing as all the other Savant skills do. Your time and cost of putting Evocation spells in your spellbook is halved. Moving on. At second level, you also get Sculpt Spells, which gives you the ability to avoid hitting 1 plus the spell's level creatures in a evocation spell. So if you drop a fireball, it's a 3rd level spell. You could avoid hitting 4 other creatures with that spell.
Okay, so it's within the area of effect, then, is what you're saying.
Within the area of effect,
okay.
Yeah. So basically, what it does is you still technically get hit by the spell, but you're basically granting them a evasion that's an auto success on the spell.
They get auto immunity to this one thing.
Well, no, it's not auto immunity. It is they succeed on their saving throw against the spell and take no damage if they would normally take half damage. It's not immunity.
Okay.
Adding the word immunity would add a lot of other shit to it.
Okay.
But this is basically the spell is warping around these people. Right? And it's 1 plus the spell's level with no real limit. So if you're casting a 9th level spell, you could avoid hitting 10 people if you wanted.
Yeah, sure.
I don't mind. It's within your area of expertise. It makes sense that you would have practiced and specialized in manipulating that spell.
And as someone who has gotten no end of shit for, blowing up my party with fireballs, I'm happy this is around.
Yeah, so is your party. The thing about this is that I feel like, I don't know, it still feels early to me, but it's very thematically on point, and I don't think it's game breaking. So I would love to have seen this at level 4, but there's no such thing as a 4th level subclass feature. So fine, I'll accept it at level 2.
So at 6th level, you get Potent Cantrip, which is when your damaging cantrips affect even the creatures that avoid the brunt of the effect. If a creature succeeds on a saving throw against your cantrip, that creature still takes half damage, but suffers no additional effect from the cantrip. So if you say hit them with a Sacred Flame, which I understand isn't part of the spell, the Evocation spell list here, but if you hit them with a Sacred Flame and they make it, they're still taking half damage. Right? This is kind of concerning because I can't think off the top of my head of any evocation cantrips that aren't direct target.
I don't think it says it has to be evocation cantrips, though, does it?
It doesn't, but it's I can't think of very many wizard cantrips that aren't direct targets if they're damaging spells.
Also, for me,
I know there's a couple that are divine.
No.
I know like Sacred Flame and Toll the Dead.
Isn't, I believe, Chill Touch, right? I think I think would create bonfire count. I don't know. I know that it will do fire damage, but I don't think there's inherently a save with it.
I think create bonfire would.
I'm pretty sure that both
count.
Poison Spray and Ray of Frost are in that list.
Ray of Frost is a target. I know that for sure. And Poison Spray, I don't think is a...
No, it's a
Poison
con
Spray would
save.
be
It's a
as well.
con save. What about Thunderclap?
Okay, I stand corrected. There's a bunch.
So, well, I wouldn't say there's a bunch. There's a handful of them, and they're not all evocation. So,
Yeah.
So there you go.
I think for me, the only thing I'll say here, and I like to use cantrips where I can for creative reasons. Cantrips are great, right? To kind of be creative with them. But for the damage ones, I think at 6th level already, I'm not even using cantrips for damage. And then even if I was, this is just the DM going, well, they don't take 6, they take 3. And you're like, all right, sure. Like, for me, I wouldn't be using cantrips for damage anyway at 6th level.
I don't know, man. Like,
it depends. Some of them stack, right? Like some of them, when you get to certain levels, they'll do more damage. Like when you get to 5th level,
and most of the damaging ones do. Like they get additional dice that aren't by any means the main powerhouse behind the spell. I'm not looking at you, Eldritch Blast, but they're still like, you'll still be able to contribute significantly, or at least contribute meaningfully to any sort of combat.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you run out of spell slots, you could still rely on your cantrips. Yeah. That's why I always recommend, if you are a spellcaster, take at least one damaging cantrip. Just because you are saving yourself a hell of a lot of pain if you do.
Just for an example, okay? Just because we're kind of talking around it. Poison Spray, okay, where they've got to make a con save or take 1d12 poison damage. Well, at 5th level...
1d12?
Yep, at 5th level it's 2d12, at 11th it's 3d12, and at 17th it's 4d12. Now, if you are so worked down at above 17th level that you are blowing cantrips and shit, or you're just holding off on your big spells, there's a big battle coming, and one of the little peons makes their save, which they shouldn't, but the DM crits, they're still going to take half of 4d12 poison damage. Yeah. So, I don't know. I like this. I think it fits. I like that it is going to stack. You need to keep an eye on this and remember it exists, because it's not always going to be useful or effective. You guys are right. But I think that occasionally this could pop up and be useful.
Yeah. Okay. At 10th level, very simply, you have Empowered Evocation. You get to add your intelligence modifier to 1 damage roll of any wizard evocation spell you cast. Simple. By 10th level, you probably at least have a +4. So your fireball's doing, 6d6 +4. It's a weaker level 10, but I mean, it makes sense. And how often are we down to the last hit point, and any extra point counts? So I'm okay with it. I like it. It's a weaker 10th level ability. I mean, it's no transmutationist.
It's just,
but
it's good, and there's nothing wrong with it. What I'm getting from the evocation class so far is it's not exciting, right? It's just...
there's nothing game breaking here, right?
More
There's nothing
damage.
Like, it's just Well, let's talk about our level 14 ability, because we'll probably talk about this one for a little while. Sure. At 14th level, you have Over Channel, where you can increase the power of your simpler spells. When you deal a wizard spell of 1st through 5th level that deals damage, you can deal maximum damage with that spell, full stop. The first time you do so, you suffer no adverse effect. However, every time you do it afterwards, you take 2d12 necrotic damage for each level of the spell. Each time you do it after that, you before finishing a long rest, you add an additional 1d12 per level. So if you do this 3 times, you are adding 3d12 a level. You do it 4 times, you're doing 4d12 a level. Keep in mind, you're at d6 hit points.
This strikes me as last stand, the rest of the party's dead, and you're just slinging and hoping against the ropes, trying to take that Baylor down or something.
Yeah, this is you hitting it with the disintegrate. And
No, it's not disintegrate.
Crit,
it's not disintegrate.
And then you just go, yes.
Dan, it's not disintegrate, because it's 5th level or lower, right?
Isn't Disintegrate 5th level?
No, fuck no. It's higher than that.
I think Disintegrate's 5th level, isn't it?
Guys, I'm looking at it now. It is not. What we're dealing with here, your 5th level real damage spells are going to be Cloud Kill, Cone of Cold. What do we have? There's not a whole lot of 5th level. Immolation, I guess, is a big one.
Disintegrate's 6th level.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, there are some Steel Wind Strike. Like, there are some here that are going to do... Steel Wind Strike used to piss me off when I was DMing against it. Because, fuck, I hated that one. But, like, your Fireball's going to be maximized, too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
And Fireball hits heavier than 3rd level. It hits like a 5th level spell, right? And so, like, especially when you're casting it up at 5th level. Because you can upcast a lot of this stuff, too. So... What's interesting here is that it's got this negative effect and starts to wither you away slowly. I like it. I really like this.
I really like the flavor of it. My one contention is that a D12 feels excessive.
No.
But I mean, I get it. And on top of that, every single time you use it, it's another D12 on top. And on top of that, this damage ignores any resistance and immunities you may have. So if you're rolling into this as a, fallen A-smear, and you got that damage resistant necrotic, doesn't matter. You're taking a full 2d12.
I like it because
per spell
I
level.
like the idea of it sucking your whole life force out of you to try and deal as much damage as you can. It touches on the uncontrollable part of magic. Like it's almost kind of sorcerer to me, like wild. Like you're not refining it, you're not controlling it, you're just blasting it out of your body.
Yeah.
And I gotta say this, you're making a big deal out of these D12s because you have a D6 hit die. And I understand, but you're getting this at 14th level. Hopefully you have something in your Constitution modifier. You should. You're a blaster wizard. You're going to be in combat. But I would say, like, 2d12 is only an average of 7. Which is essentially 1 level of your life per level that you're casting. Right? And so, I don't know. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. I also think it makes a lot of sense when the cleric is standing behind you going, all right, we're going to do the combo again. You cast, I'll heal. Let's do this. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, and remember, you can't fucking die in D&D 5th edition by the time you're 14th level. You got to go out of your way. Your DM has got to just, oh my god, there's so much planning that has to go into it. But it's like there's so much. I mean, Terry, you died at 14th level in D&D, and
yes.
You died because I had to drop you into a zone where there was no healing allowed. That was the only way that it could happen, right?
Yeah.
And you were then immediately risen as a zombie on the next turn because there was a paladin right there. Like there was just, it had to be the perfect setup for it to happen. So like, there's nothing that is going to really knock you down, especially because you probably have a transmutation wizard standing beside you going, oh, I can heal you or bring you back from the dead. Don't worry about it. I'm still mad about that, but keep going. No, I like it. I think it's really flavorful. I think it stacks. It's really neat. And I think that it, I would like this. I think they could have done this with levels of exhaustion. If all of the exhaustion comes off, with a long rest, but I'm fine with the necrotic damage. It's easier to undo damage than it is to undo exhaustion in the heat of the moment. So I'm okay with this. I really am. I think that this is fine. By the time you're at 14th level, you've got some big ass heals kicking around. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, I like it. I just see that last stand, and if you make it through, everything will be all right. You'll be okay.
Yeah,
but you might not.
My one contention, my probably biggest contention with it is that it takes to 14th level for the School of the Evoker to get something really cool and flavorful.
Yeah.
Everything else is bland, kind of. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. This is the actual first ability, and you got to wait till you're 14th level to get actual flavor.
No, I think you're underselling the really early sculpt spells. That's your big one. That's the thing that makes an evoker way different than everything else. That's solid flavor. That's the one where you can choose not to hit people or to do less damage to people, rather. Right? It's where you are.
Yeah.
You are.
Fair enough.
Like that's big. As you said yourself, you are guilty of much friendly fire in your D&D life. So being able to
Hasn't happened that often, but it's because I'm usually the barbarian getting hit by the fireballs.
Whose turn is it? Adam?
All right, so it's me. School of Conjuration. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this. This was entirely an accident when we sat down and came up with this. But we have covered the 3 biggest spell schools now. Transmutation, there are 308. Transmutation has 65 of them. Evocation has 64. Conjuration has 49. The next highest is Abjuration and Illusion. They both have 30 different spells in their spell school. 30.
Yikes.
That's 60% of what a Conjuration wizard can do. That's less than half of Transmutation or Evocation. A Divination wizard gets 18. 18 spells compared to 65. Between these 3 schools, we're accounting for 58% of the spells in the Players Handbook, Xanathar's Sword Coast, and the Elemental Evils Player's Companion. So 58%.
To be honest, though, it makes sense because these are the offensive spells. The Conjurationist, the Transmutationist, and the Evocationist are the ones who are going on the offensive. All the other schools...
necromancy, man.
Except for maybe enchantment and necromancy. Right? But necromancy also has a lot of fucky life shit to it.
Yeah, but it only has 27 spells it can do. And it got a big boost in Xanathar's. It was pretty light in Player's Handbook. I'm just saying, there's a reason nobody plays Divination Wizards, because you sit there and go, oh, what spells do I get? You're like, oh, these 18 compared to the rest?
Didn't see that coming.
No, that's... oh.
Yeah.
No, that's weak. That's like 6%. Anyway, School of Conjuration. What Conjuration is, whereas Transmutation is changing the nature of things, and Evocation is blowing shit up with elemental energy, Conjuration is producing shit out of thin air. You are really grabbing things from nowhere and making them appear and exist in front of you. I really like this because it feels the most wizardy to me. Out of all the rest of them, I like Conjuration because you can make something from nothing. Of course, you get your Savant at second level, right? Where half the gold and half the time to copy a spell into your spell book. Sure, that's pretty standard. This might be my favorite flavor thing ever. The Minor Conjuration at second level. When you select this school, you can use your action to conjure up an inanimate object in your hand or on the ground within 10 feet of you. The object can be no larger than 3 feet on a side and weigh no more than 10 pounds, and it has to be non-magical. You have to have been able to see it beforehand, and it is visibly magical, which means that it is radiating dim light out to 5 feet. It lasts for an hour. Or when you use the feature again, or if the object takes any damage. Which means, guys, this thing, you're on a boat and you don't have a paddle. Bloop, yeah, I got a paddle now. You're locked in a cell and you need the key. Oh, you saw the key on the jailer's belt. You now have the key. You can do so much really cool flavor with this, and it just has to be non-magical, inanimate. That's it. You know what's non-magical and inanimate? Fucking acid. There is so much can do with this. This is... I will take 2 levels of Conjuration Wizard to go with any rogue or bard or anything else just so I can get this, because now I am just fucking up to shit. I don't need to be an illusionist. I can straight up make shit for an hour. Yeah. And as long as it doesn't take damage, I don't have to concentrate on this. Take that, illusionist.
What I like... just to flip it around, what I like is even though it's mundane, it appears magical. So it glows. So now you're making money in the marketplace, aren't you? With it's something mundane. Ooh, look, shiny. Right?
Yeah, it feels like you're making this out of like a hard light construct, right? This is straight up fucking
Green Lantern.
It's not even yes, it is Green Lantern. It's also the the Hollow Suite and the Hollow Deck from Star Trek, right? Like you just bloop, here's a magic thing. There it is. You can interact with it like it's normal, but it will go away. And I don't know. I think that this is low key the most powerful thing that you could do if you have an imagination.
Yep. If you're playing a role-playing campaign, this is amazing. If you're playing an exploration campaign, this is amazing. If you're playing a combat campaign, this is still good.
You can make swords.
You can make swords. You could make a door. I mean, not a big door, but a door.
You can make a door that locks. You can make a portcullis, right? It can be no larger than 3 feet on a side, and it can't weigh more than 10 pounds, right? So you can make an escape hatch, right? But the hole has to be there. You're not transmuting the floor into it. If you make a small 3 foot by 3 foot door on the ground and you lift up the door, there's still fucking floor underneath it, right? But you can plug something. You can everybody climb into the hole, and I'm gonna put up a little painting in front of it, and nobody will, or an area rug, and no one's doing damage to the area rug. It doesn't say that it has to hold a certain amount of pounds or anything. It's just an area rug. People will run right over it, right? And it's still an area rug. And the thing is, it just glows. That's the thing. This is going to give it away. You can't be super ridiculously sneaky with it. But you could get kind of sneaky with it in some areas. You get into a dragon's horde where half the shit is probably glowing. There's just so much that you can do with this. And I just, honestly, this is enough. I don't need anything else from this. There's more, but I'm done. This is all I need. This thing hits way beyond its level. And the great thing is that you just have to have seen it. You don't need to be holding it. You don't need to have a precise memory of. There's all these other wording in other places about recreating things and effects and whatnot, and you don't have to do that here. You just do it. There's no limitation upon it. Do you guys have anything else to add to this?
Love it. I love it. I like I had a really immature thought. I'm going to share it with you guys. Just because we were talking before about the super nerdy wizard. I like the idea of the super nerdy wizard where he's trying to, like, almost like the 40-year-old virgin, where he's like, the boobs are like bags of sand, and they're like, bags of sand? I just had this little scene in my head of them going, you've never seen boobs before. He's like, I have. Okay, well, show me what boobs look like using your spell. And he's like, I don't know how to, and then just add it. It was a ridiculous thing, guys, in my head, but that's what I was thinking of. And that's what I confessed to you. Yeah. Dan, do you have anything productive to say?
Have you been derailed by boobies?
Often, many times in my life. But right now, no. I honestly love it. I kind of think this might in some ways make you the best assistant to a con man.
Oh.
Like, you pair this guy with a bard who could talk through any situation, and you're golden. You just give this guy charisma, and you're good. Give him like the charlatan background. You give him the charlatan background as a conjuration wizard. You have as roleplay as a rogue as you ever need to get.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean...
Look,
you have the guy who like pays governments and pays police forces to lock him up. And if he could get out within an hour using no spells, you guys pay me. And he goes in there, he pulls out his little thieves' tools that he conjures, uses them because he's got the charlatan background. Within an hour, they disappear, and he walks out and is like, yep, there you go.
But it's not even that. You can walk into the group of, I don't know, kobolds or goblins or whatever low intelligence mob group, your Kuatoas, and you walk up and you say, I am the one true king. And they say, no, you're not. And you say, but I have the one true king's crown. I am the chosen one. And you just recreate a wooden crown. You could make it bejeweled as you want, but you pull it out of your backpack, the damn thing glows, and you put it on your head. The fact that it glows, you can use this for so much. It's so much fun. I love this. This is my favorite thing. But let's move on. You get benign transposition at 6th level, which means you can use your action. So it does take your action, but you can teleport up to 30 feet into an unoccupied space that you can see. Alternatively, You can choose a space within that range that's occupied by a small or medium creature, and as long as the creature's willing, you guys can swap places. You can do this once per long rest. But this comes back every time you cast a conjuration spell of first level or higher, which should be all the freaking time because there's 49 different conjuration spells. So
I've got nothing bad to say.
Yeah, I like it because it's tactical and it seems fair for 6th level.
Yep. The next one is focused conjuration, beginning at 10th level. Whenever you're concentrating on a conjuration spell, your concentration cannot be broken by taking damage.
Ooh.
Yikes.
So, guys, I'm not even at 14th yet, but, like, this is low-key one of the most powerful. Like, the divination, do you guys remember the divination was just, like, doing crazy shit in the background?
Yeah.
Everyone's looking to throw in fireballs, and these guys are like, oh, you know what, I can summon fairies, or I can tell you your future, but by the way, I can also fuck up everything out there. Right? Like, it's, I don't know, there's so much cool stuff that's going on with this guy. There's nothing wrong. And that feels about right at 10th level, doesn't it?
I'm honestly upset that, and Adam, you're going to roll your eyes at this. Other schools should get this.
Oh, I think there should be a feature. I think you're right. There should just be a class feature.
Yeah.
Right? The way that, like, the savant is in most of them, there should be something that should be in a lot of them. Especially things like illusion and enchantment and abjuration. These guys have a lot of concentration spells. I can understand the evoker and the necromancer not needing it, but everybody else, like, sure, this is something that would be very important. But
this
anyway,
is going to be one that swings people towards this subclass, I think.
Oh, I think so. Especially
if they are looking at the 10th level and are getting sold by the 10th level, then they haven't read the 2nd and 6th level.
Yeah, like it's honestly, each one is less tactical and powerful than the previous one, but they're all still so useful compared to some of the shit you're getting in the other schools. And we still have the 14th one. And again, this is even less powerful because any creature that you can summon or create with a conjuration spell has 30 temporary hit points, which just means that your conjurations are going to last longer, I guess. Like, there's not, and it's creatures, there's not a whole lot that you're doing with that. I mean, there's infestation, find familiar. I mean, find familiar, your familiar having an additional 30 temporary hit points is useful, but you get summoning demons and elementals and fae, and I think celestials as well at this point. Summon celestials is in the Unearthed Arcana. So it's demons and elementals, and that's it. Right, but they end up having more hit points, right?
So I like it because it gives you another beefed up body on the battlefield, right? When you're getting towards the end of the campaign, the bigger bosses. I like it because at this point, 30 temporary hit points is a round of damage. You know, it could give them another round on the battlefield.
Yeah, I agree. Especially because a lot of the stuff that you have, elementals and demons and whatnot, you're going to choose pretty specific ones to bring out. And they're going to have some resistances anyway. And so you could be pretty tactical with this. And this could really work in your favor.
I don't know, man. If I have a question then.
Yeah.
Any creature that you summon or create with a conjuration spell has 30 temporary hit points. With spells like Summon Lesser Demons, which is a 3rd level conjuration spell from Xanathars, can you summon multiple creatures with that spell?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
I'm going to look that up because this gets exponentially better. If you are summoning 5 small demons, you now have added 150 hit points to the table, which is not insignificant.
No, you're right. That's powerful. Hold on, I've got it pretty much in front of me right now.
I got it right here in front of me. You could summon 8 demons of challenge rating of a quarter or lower that lasts an hour with 30 hit points more. With a 3rd level conjuration spell.
Quarter or lower. Hold on. Which demons are those? You're not even going to get a Quasit out of that. You're going to get Dretches. But I mean,
yeah, but then you have Dretches with 50 hit points running across the table. 8 of them.
Yeah,
because they come stock with 20, right?
Dretches come stock with 18. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. So you're putting out another 180 hit points on the table and just going, go. And you're not making me lose concentration on this because I can't.
Yeah. you're surrounding an enemy, you're winning 1 or 2 rounds essentially by putting that amount of bodies out there.
Yeah, you are keeping someone's, like, if there's a creature on the table, doesn't matter what level you are. If there's a creature on the table that does not require flight or does not have flight or teleportation, you can lock them down with 8 dretches for a turn. But that's a good use of a 3rd level spell at level 14.
What's interesting with the summoning is that, you know, if you roll a 1 or 2 on a d6, you get 2 demons of a challenge rating 1, right? If you roll a 3 or 4, you get 4 demons of challenge rating half. So while you get more of them, they are less powerful. But it always says or lower. And the DM chooses the demons. Which means you need to sit down and talk to the DM and be like, look, man, I love this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm all about. Don't just choose the freaking Mayonnaise, right? When it comes to this, when I want to cast this and I roll a 1 or 2 and I could have a level 1 or lower, don't pick the CR18, please, or at least come up with a random table you're going to roll on, so that you're so I'm not blowing this spell slot.
Can I add a little further wrench into this?
Sure.
Insofar as Summon Lesser Demons is concerned, if you cast it at a 6th or 7th level spell slot, you get twice as many demons. If you cast it with an 8th or 9th level spell slot, you get 3 times as many demons.
So you could drop 180.
Demon,
you could drop 18. No, I'm sorry, 24. Holy shit, times 30. You're dropping an additional 720 hit points on the table. Honestly,
you're dropping 24 more miniatures on the table. As a DM, I'd be like, fuck you, because now your turn is an hour minimum.
Well,
and those things aren't weak because they each have freaking 50 hit points. That'll soak up a ton of damage.
Well, yeah, and we're not even talking about summon greater demons, right? This is just lesser demons. But I don't know. Honestly, do you control them?
The demons are hostile to all creatures, including you.
Yeah, so I mean, use that with a grain of salt. And this.
Well, 1 second.
But see,
the DM chooses the demon such as Mayonnaise or Dretches. A summoned demon disappears when it drops its 0 hit points, or when the spell ends. Demons are hostile to all creatures, including you, but you can cast it 60 feet away. And they pursue and attack the nearest non-demon to the best of their ability. As part of the casting of the spell, you can form a circle on the ground with the blood used as the material component. The circle is large enough to encompass your space. While the spell lasts, the summoned demons can't cross the circle or harm it, and they can't target anyone within it. Using the material component in this manner consumes it. If I am dropping 24 50 hit point demons on the table, I'm doing this. I'll drop that blood around me and I'll expend that blood here. That's fine. And just sit back and watch the mayhem. And then when I want to, I give up concentration, they go away because the spell's ended, and I walk out. I don't have to do anything else on my turn. On my turn, I'm spending my action creating little knickknacks out of nothingness. Because why the fuck not?
Yikes. Yeah, so look, that's what I've got for the Conjuration Wizard. I think that he's super powerful, loads of fun, tons of flavor, and surprisingly badass. Right? There's so much going on with this guy, because not only does he have a shit ton of spells, like Transmutation and Evocation, but every single level, something useful is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. You won me over with that one. It's just great to hear interesting ideas on that. Dan, you sound like you're going to say something there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you also got to remember Conjuration spells are not just summoning. They're also your Missy Step. There's
a shit ton of
teleports.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot that they can do.
Like, it's ridiculous. Like, create demi-planes. That's a Conjuration spell, my friends. Like...
Yeah, you are not really bound by this subclass like you are in some of the other ones. There are some huge, great things that you can do with this. You got a lot of the elemental stuff, like your thunder step, your sleet storm. There's a lot. You also wish is a conjuration spell.
So is Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of 9th level spells, and 2 of them are conjuration spells.
So I'm telling you, this when I'm gonna sit down to play a wizard, this is one that I'm gonna look long and hard at. Or even if I'm gonna play something else and I don't feel like I need the level 20 ability, because a lot of them are kind of bullshit anyway. If I may try to throw a little bit of conjuration wizard in here, because there's a lot of really fun stuff that they can do.
I like it. All right, team. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of topic 2 then. So we'll be moving on to topic 3 now, creative builds, right after this short break.
Hey everybody, Coffee Bitch Dave here. I want you to know it's 1:45 in the morning. Yesterday I was up until 8 a.m. all night, preparing the Eberron series, getting stuff ready to go. But no, here I am, sitting in front of a microphone because I have to wish Adam a happy birthday. It's his birthday. Make him feel appreciated. Like, appreciated. So, shout out to Adam for being born. You deserve it.
Thanks, Dave. Oh, back to the fucking episode. You dick cheese.
Okay, team. So topic 3. So each of us has one new character build featuring the subclass that we covered. And if you guys are ready, let's roll on it and let's go through it.
Sure.
All right, let's do it.
A 4!
I got a natural 20 again.
Oh, fuck off. I got a 19. I was sitting here just playing with my nipples, all excited about
Look,
it.
I'm not happy with it. I had my Xanathar's book out and it landed on the... It's cocked.
We can't...
Oh shit, I just rolled another nat 20. Dad, I promise you. I was trying to be fair with it. I was like, it's cocked. I can't do it.
I'll give it to you. Like, at least you're not saying, okay, guys, I'm rolling this 20-sided dice. Hey, I got a 21. I got a 21, guys.
No, Dan, what you can't see is that he pulled a 6-sided die out of freaking Monopoly box, and that's what he's doing right now.
That's true. That's true. Okay. Okay. So my idea, and it started off me going down the transmutation route because, of course, we said we were going to do it without subclass. But I get so hooked on who the person is more than transmutation here. I like the idea, and the whole amnesia idea has been done. Who am I? Where am I from? I woke up on a beach and I can't remember anything. I'm not wearing any shoes and now I speak Chinese. Like, it's been done. Right?
Shit, that happened to me last week.
happened last week. I had an empty bottle of Sambuca next to me. I had no idea what happened. But I like the idea of speaking with the DM and even the other players at Session Zero where it's tied in that you are a very high level wizard that for whatever reason has had memories heavily repressed, and I like it the idea where whatever the DM's final outcome is, whatever you're building up towards, is the thing which has shocked you or repressed these memories so heavily that you actually can't remember anything of who you are anymore, to the point that the idea that you probably don't even share language with the other players for maybe the first session or so. Of course, you would have to be comfortable doing that. And the idea that as you go through your characters and you level up, that you're not learning things for the first time, but you're remembering what you previously knew. And of course, my worry at first was, okay, well, I don't want this campaign to become all about that character, and it doesn't have to be. It's more just like whenever you do a history check, it brings back a memory of when you were at that place before. And the paladin was also there for whatever reason. We crossed paths wherever. So I like the idea of as you're building up through your character levels, you are just remembering or having your abilities come back to you, that is shaping who you will eventually become, and it is linked to whatever the final outcome is going to be. It's a little bit kind of Final Fantasy, but I wanted to take that trope of amnesia and twist it a little bit and kind of just reverse engineer the game, that we're kind of building back to where you were before, but you as the player, the adventurer, is you're kind of unlocking a story that's already happened, essentially. Did any of that make sense?
It did.
That made perfect sense.
I really like it, but you gotta have the DM on your side for it.
That's right. That's right. You do,
because and I don't know, man. Like I would put my hesitation with that is you'd put so much weight into that level 20 reveal of being finally 100% yourself, and unfortunately your character dies at level 8 because the Odiog crit on you.
Oh, and yeah, but even that is like there's ways to prepare for that. That's just where whatever ends. Like, I'm not saying that you're it's not like you're getting back to it and like, oh, here we go, kind of like when there's those movies where it shows you the end and then it shows you how you get there. It's not like that. It's just like you go back to that thing that caused that damage to happen to you. But the reason I liked it for Transmutation is because I kind of made a joke about it earlier with the age thing, where you can essentially be shown that you're a lot younger than you are. I like this idea of this young-looking character not being taken seriously, but really they're 83-year-old Mordenkainen or something, or whoever you want to play. But they just may not know that. They may think it's the shock of whatever happened to them has aged their body to the point where they feel like they can't use their body properly, even though they only look like they're 22. Mm-hmm. But it's not. It's the fact that it really is they're 84.
Oh, and I would love, like, as you're going through the campaign, these you keep on finding these tomes of transmutation magic written by this great transmuter who just disappeared one day. And at the end of the campaign, they're like, oh, no, dude, you wrote those. Yeah. No, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Who's next?
Adam.
Is that how it's,
what you got?
Is that how it's pronounced? Otiug? Like, I guess.
That's how I've always pronounced it.
I guess. For some reason, I always thought that the UGH at the end would have like an F sound, and I don't know why I thought that. Like, enough. I don't know. Anyways, really not the point of this episode, but I'm
well. Actually, I've got a reason why I pronounce it that way. It's because Odiugs live in filth. So it's the Odiug. Anyways, continue.
That is a terrible reason, but it's honestly better than anything else I can come up with. So I'm gonna let it slide.
Yay! Victory for Dan! Break the champagne open.
Quiet you.
Wait, you break open.
All right. So mine is the coward. I want the Conjuration wizard to be a coward, and I want him to just be freaking out all the time and making shit happen as he like he studies how to defend himself because he's trembling and he's afraid. And so he studies it the night before, and then the big scary thing happens and he freaks out and he just puts his hands up in the air and he says the words and he throws the dust, and then the thing happens, and okay, all right, okay, I'm fine again. Okay. Oh shit, okay. My Conjuration wizard is like, well, I mean, I guess I can make you a sword, I guess, out of nothing, but it's not gonna last forever. And he's terrified. And this is what I want specifically for Conjuration wizard, because you don't immediately think that they're offensive. And the idea that he just like, I need allies, and then summons fucking demons. Like, can you imagine him then like shitting his pants and running away? I think that this is a load of fun for this character. And I was debating which race to make him. Like, what's a good cowardly race? And then I thought, well, gnomes are bullshit, so I'll make him a gnome.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, is he like a self-confessed coward, or does he think he's brave? Is it like a bravado, like an act of bravery? Or no, he's straight up, I should not be here. This was not my life plan, and I was supposed to stay at home. Yeah. I think because
he's like the third son of a noble family.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, I was supposed to be in charge of that small duchy. By the time I was 30, why am I out here killing goblins?
I don't even know what a goblin is.
I like the idea that he's relying on like the mundane characters. Like, he's looking at the fighter and the barbarian going, I can't do it. You guys go in there. And they're like, you can make shit blow up from 60 feet away. Like, and it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, just not realizing what your strengths are.
And I think that he's just a nerd. I think that everything that he does is stuff that he reads about, and he's out there adventuring because he's read it in his stories, and he would rather read about other people doing heroic things than him doing it himself. And maybe he signed up for this whole thing because he's writing down the paladin story. He's sitting there following along. He's not a bard. He's not going to sing the tales of. He's writing the historical text. And look, we know that you're going to be one of the chosen ones. Our diviners have seen it. So I'm going to follow you around. It's my job to write it all down. But oh my God. And then he like blows something up. He just does not want to be here. I will stay in the tavern. You guys have the adventure. Come back and tell me how it goes.
Oh man. I like it.
I also like the fact that this comes with a built-in NPC character that's his editor. That's like, no, you go out into that cave and you get the real story.
Dan?
All right. For mine, I mean, I always like throwing the expectations on their head when it comes to these classes, and everyone plays the Evocation wizard as, the big bombastic, I'll blow you up kind of wizard. That's not what I want to do. I want to have an incredibly practical Evocation wizard, a clan crafter background. Most likely I would probably make him a dwarf, and he was the guy that just ran the forges, and he's a forge master.
So Dan just made himself then.
And he is drawn to a life of adventuring to get away to protect his family. And
someone's been in isolation too long.
God help me. No, man, he's an artisan of magic, and this is the way I look at it. And when he is sculpting spells, he's not just, making these people avoid taking damage. He is creating the spell in such a way where it wraps around them and flows through them, right? And he views his magic as an artistic expression. And he is incredibly practical, incredibly almost dour, he's serious, but the art is where he finds his creative outlet. I want to play an Evocation wizard, but I don't want to play the guy who's all oh no, look, a single cobalt fireball. You're boring, you're basic, move on, right? Let's do something interesting. A dwarf wizard clan crafter who uses his Evocation magic to stoke the flame and to control the elements around to create these wonderful works of art magically, as well as items.
I like
that he can make as a background.
Because you're leaning into that dwarven mentality of master crafting, but perhaps this character has realized that his skill, his master craftsmanship, isn't with his hands, but in what he can do with his arcane abilities.
Yeah.
So I like it that you're sticking with that discipline for that dwarf, because that is exactly what a dwarf is like, that pride in what they can craft. But his medium, what he does is the arcane. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a little weird. I never liked dwarves using arcane magic. But I could see it for an artificer now that I say that out loud. Because in my head they're divine, but I think that I'm going to hate saying this. If it's not going to be a dwarf, it's going to be a fucking gnome for the tinkering factor, right?
Yeah. Well, the only reason why for one, if you look into your Lord of the Rings or Warhammer dwarves, there is definitely an arcane nature to them as well. So it's recent D&D and the narrative that they put in Races of Stone and 3.5 that really push this, that they're more divine, they're the clerical character. I have no problem seeing dwarves as arcane masters. They're long-lived, they're incredibly articulate and intelligent. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, look, I don't have that big of a problem. Like I say, I'm okay with it. It just always, for some reason, it always feels wrong, and I don't know why. It's I just don't picture a Goliath cleric.
Yeah,
there's no reason why you wouldn't, but I just don't picture that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, team. Any final thoughts then before we wrap this up?
I'm looking forward to the next three wizard schools we do.
What's on the next one? Do we know?
Oh yeah, hold on. What do we have left? I don't think we've covered necromancy. I don't think we've covered enchantment, and I don't think we've covered war magic or blade singer yet.
Oh,
I really like war magic.
Man, sounds like a band.
War magic? Yeah,
War magic.
They were popular in the 80s.
War magic, yeah. War magic sounds like the band that would support Nightwish or something. But anyway, yeah. All right, that's it for this week's episode on Wizards. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as dozens of other podcast apps. You can also find us at itsamimic.com or email us at info@itsamimic.com. Thanks for listening to the It's a Mimic podcast, and make sure you check us out next week when we're covering Celestials.
Booyah.
You've reached the end of another episode of the It's a Mimic podcast. Connect with us at itsamimic.com. Don't forget to subscribe and hit those share buttons. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.
right, guys. So what I asked you before a couple of episodes ago was I wanted to know which race everybody would be. And so the natural progression for this, for me, because I thought about mine and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be originally, is if you could be any D&D class, if the classes existed in real life, which D&D class would you be?
Do we have to pick one, like, we're not looking at subclasses, we just pick one as a general whole?
General whole, but if you have a specific reason because of a subclass, that's okay. You can throw it in.
Okay. All right, we roll
And this
initiative.
isn't what we think we are, but what we would want to be.
Yes. Well, I kind of
Okay.
went. Actually, I went with what I think I would most likely be.
Yeah. Okay. I'll roll on this. Yep. Let's roll
cool.
initiative.
2, 1. I got 9.
6.
I got an 18. Guys, it is very clear to me that I would be a bard, and not a musical bard, but I would be in front of people talking all of the
I think
time.
so.
I would be a storyteller, and I would be in front of people talking, and I would be up on a stage acting shit out. And man, I've been a hair's breadth away from being a stand-up comic more than once. I've just been like, oh, do I do it? Should I go up there and do it? I'm just like, I just don't want to put amount of effort into it to get that level of rejection.
I think you should, because I think it'd be savage. I think
I would be too.
brutal
The first heckler I get, Dan, please come and heckle me so I can practice on you. Because shit, man, I would be fucking ruthless.
I'm so glad that you finally you've managed to discover the guy with the thickest skin on the planet, so you could just bounce all your fucking ire off of me, and it's fine. No, that makes complete sense. I actually, Adam, to be completely honest, I think you really do need to, build up your Type 5. And one of these days as a commercial spot, we should just put you on there for your Type 5.
Should I make it all D&D as well? To be like, hey, you notice that orcs walk like this, but goblins walk like this?
I think you should, because stand-up comedy also requires a lot of structure, right? And discipline in how to do it. And I think you put together a really structured set. People can be funny in a room. Like, I feel like I can entertain people in a room, but I can't get up there and then the pressure of just making a whole room laugh immediately. And if they don't, I'm fucked. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it.
All right, Terry, what do you got?
You know what? This might surprise you, but also maybe not. I thought about it, and I rag on them a lot. I would probably be a druid. I think I would. I like the idea of just transforming myself into a beast, any beast, whether I want to disappear, hide, go into the woods, off into the mountains, manipulate nature around me. I think I think that's naturally the way I would go, because I enjoy interacting with people and being around people. But also when I'm sick of people, I do have a habit of just disappearing and just. But I think that's what a druid would do as well. Would just walk into town nonchalantly and go and see their friends they haven't seen in 15 years and just act like they just saw them yesterday and they've been like, where have you been? And then when they get sick of all that, just going off the grid. More so than a ranger. I know that sounds rangerish, but I want the druid ability. Really, it's the abilities I want. I don't want to just be able to walk very quickly.
So hold on, is that why you fucking disappeared for 7 episodes in a row? Because you just had enough of Dan and I turned around and walked out?
That was it. I just said, fuck people. I'm out.
No, it's not fuck Terry. It's not fuck people. It's fuck those two specific people.
you guys are great. You guys are great because I know what to expect from you two. You will be on time. You'll be where we need to be, where we agreed to be, doing what we agreed to do. It's the other 7 billion assholes out there that I don't want to be around. Fuck those guys. You two are fine. I know what to expect from you two.
I noticed you didn't include Megan, Dave, or Brad in this, so we know where you're sitting.
Well, occasionally, sometimes I show up and one of those guys is there as well, and that's fine.
All right, Dan, what about you?
I don't know, man. When we had the giveaway, was it the giveaway or was it just the shutout? I forget. It was last year sometime.
Yeah.
And then
the first giveaway.
We had people write in. Yeah, we had people write in and say what we were. A couple of people Cleric of the Forge. And that kind of knocked it on the head for me. I'm on board with that. More so now, if you asked me this a while ago, I would have been Paladin or Barbarian or something fighty and stalwart and brave. And I'm like, I'm not that brave. I'll be a cleric of the Forge. And if you need me, I'll just be building shit in the back room. Don't worry about me. I'll be working on something by myself. I don't care if it's hot. I don't care if it's cold. I don't care what it is. If it's tedious manual labor, I could do it. I'm good.
That would be great.
I'm happy. This is my comfort place. Like this is where I am the most comfortable. This is my home. Tedious manual labor. I'm good.
And that would work perfectly for you, Dan. And I think you would love it. I wouldn't be able to do anything like cleric or warlock or those types of things because I don't like the idea of the voice just coming into my head. Hey, you busy? I'm like, Jesus, have you always been there? Yeah, I'm always here. I'm always here.
That's a funny story. A funny story to wrap up the episode then. When Terry was first figuring out Discord, and we sent him towards the server, and he plugged in and he accidentally clicked on the voice call. And so he was on, and he didn't realize he was on. And so I jumped on as well, and I'm like, hello, Terry. As the voice of God, he came out of his fucking skin.
Exactly. I bounced out. This is my first 32 seconds trying to figure out Discord. I'm just clicking on stuff. Then Adam's voice just appears. My girlfriend's in the background, like, just waffling away, going on about it. I'm like, like exactly like what I just said. Are you always there? How long have you been there? I'm always watching.
Thank you for listening to an It's a Mimic production.
Okay, you're done, Gary.